Johnny Depp's defamation trial has continued after a brief break, with Amber Heard and her witnesses currently taking to the stand. Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, has been questioning the 36-year-old during a tense cross-examination over her allegations that the Pirates of the Caribbean actor had been abusing her during their relationship. The case began in April and is being heard at the Fairfax County Courthouse and also being streamed live on YouTube on various channels. During the hearing, legal experts noticed a standout trait on the side of Depp's legal team: time-saving, something the defendant's side is unaware of. So what is this strategy in detail, and how will it impact the case? Let's find out. If you've been religiously following the defamation hearing pitting the two Hollywood stars, you must have noticed that the defendant, in this case Amber Heard, has provided so many witnesses who have testified via pre-recorded testimony. Depp's legal team has had the chance to cross-examine these witnesses, but they have chosen not to. Why? Well, it happens to be a brilliant idea. They are saving a lot of time, which they'll later use to grill Amber. Quite honestly, most of the video depositions have been boring, and people are not giving them much attention. Besides, witnesses are not offering much of anything. So for Depp and his team, cross-examining these witnesses would be making weak points to jurors who are not interested in listening. When his time comes, Depp will have a good 18 hours to get some testimony out of his witnesses. The likes of Dr. Curry, Jennifer Howley, more police officers, and even a surprise Kate Moss appearance in the stands are expected to light up the hearing. As it stands, Depp's team has had a 10-hour advantage over Amber's team, who are about to run out on the clock. This means they'll have a pretty lengthy rebuttal and closing arguments. That's a perfect strategy that will definitely influence the case in favor of Depp. The Public Enemy star, who is suing his ex-wife and seeking $50 million in damages, is represented by Brown Rudnick advocates in the case. Camille Vasquez, who works for the firm, is currently undertaking a cross-examination of Amber and her witnesses. She went to the University of Southern California in 2006 and then Southwestern Law School in 2010. Vasquez is adept at formulating offensive and defensive litigation strategies for private clients. She also has an extensive experience handling parallel reputation management and crisis communications issues arising from these engagements. As well as Vasquez, Depp's team also consists of Ben Chu, Stephanie Calnan, Andrew Crawford, Rebecca McDowell-LaCrose, Yarlin Mina, Jessica Myers, and Samuel Moniz. Chu has been sitting beside Depp in the courtroom in the proceedings and has successfully prosecuted 2 breaches of fiduciary cases for the Edward Scissorhands star in Los Angeles. On Amber's team is attorney Elaine Bredehoft, who is reported as consistently recognized as one of the top lawyers in Virginia, Washington, and Baltimore. Amber has also hired Woods Rogers advocates to represent her in the case, including Ben Rottenborn, who has extensive experience representing clients in complex civil litigation matters involving social issues. Amber's legal team is expected to call Depp back to the witness stand. The Mordecai actor testified over the course of 4 days last month, offering his view of how Amber's abuse allegations damaged his career and reputation. The Aquaman star had a need for violence, Depp said, alleging that it was his ex-wife who abused him. Amber painted a different portrait on the stand, recounting Depp's alleged abuse and his substance use. So far, Dr. Dawn Hughes, a clinical and forensic psychologist, and other people from Amber's inner circle, including her friend Tillett Wright and sister Whitney Enriquez, have testified as witnesses. More notably, Amber's team is expected to call on Depp to retake the stand at some point going forward. By calling Depp, Amber's team will get to control the narrative a little bit more, according to legal experts. The whole world saw how charismatic Depp was when he testified the first time around, so the last thing Amber's team would want to do is give him a second opportunity to charm the jurors. In contrast to the softball questions Depp's lawyers asked, which he was able to knock out of the park, experts expect Amber's team to approach the father of 2 more aggressively. It will be Amber's chance to catch up. According to legal experts, for the syrup actress to defeat Depp, she needs some independent corroborative witness. Sexual abuse and domestic are 2 most underreported crimes, but some jurors believe they can be falsely reported. The actress's cross-examination of Depp early in the case did not go well for Amber's team, team. Her attorneys did not seem prepared for the number of objections Depp's team came armed with, and perhaps did not account for the overall charm and credibility of Depp's nature on the stand. Since Depp's team was first to introduce the testimony of his alcoholism and drug abuse, a narrative Amber's lawyers were no doubt planning to lean heavily into, it took some of the stings away when her side finally got into it. It had already been framed by Depp's narrative, a perfect counterattacking strategy. As far as the risks, experts say Depp has the advantage of having heard all the testimony in the case, which is not typical for a witness and is only allowed because he is a party to the lawsuit. He is intelligent enough to use that knowledge to his advantage. The Kentucky-born actor is also an incredibly charming and magnetic presence in any arena, including this trial. If he comes off as being in command and persuasive, the jury will compare that to Amber's somewhat uneven time on the witness stand, and that will solidify a positive impression of him, experts conclude. Amber's testimony that she didn't need medical treatment after alleged violent episodes, including after Depp allegedly sexually assaulted her with a liquor bottle in Australia in 2015, has raised eyebrows. Her lawyers could credibly argue during closing arguments that that's not something she would necessarily seek medical attention for, or the fact that she didn't report the abuse to LAPD. They can credibly argue that that's consistent with the psychology of an abuse victim, but it is a shortfall on their part. On social media, the internet praised Johnny Depp's lawyers on the first day of cross-examination. There were nagging questions regarding Amber's lack of visible injuries prior to allegedly being abused by Depp. The actress has said that she covered her bruises with makeup. And the memification of the defamation lawsuit continues on TikTok as hordes of enthusiastic fans attempt to flatten an ugly, complicated situation into a binary narrative of unhinged aggressor versus saintly victim. Given the fact that the trial pits two Hollywood celebrities against one another and has been live streaming on various platforms since April 11th, the trial has exploded into a culture war battleground as the public projects their own personal experiences into the murky allegations of domestic abuse. In the court of public opinion, Depp is coming out on top, enjoying the support of a dedicated fan base who've been enthralled by his on-screen adventures for decades. It's as though Captain Jack Sparrow himself is on trial, rather than the stranger who played him. Amber, whose acting performances never permeated public consciousness the way Depp's did, doesn't seem to be supported by a rabidly enthusiastic fan base. As a result, Depp's fans have been hard at work collecting footage from the trial and splicing it up to create simplistic narratives that often frame Depp as the charming, lovable hero of this story. Of course, the public doesn't know either of these people. We can only judge them based on their performance and public personas. It's certainly not a suitable place to discuss the nuances of domestic abuse, as the trial is increasingly viewed like a sordid piece of fiction rather than a messy, tragic situation, a dysfunctional relationship that festered off camera. The leap from fan fiction to unhinged conspiracy theory is alarming, but perhaps inevitable. Depp, who has said multiple times under oath that he has never struck his ex-wife or any woman, has testified that his goal is the truth, as he seeks to clear his name in this trial, which is being televised live via various outlets. Ahead of the trial, Amber said in a statement that hopefully when this case concludes, she can move on, and so can Depp. She admitted to having always maintained a love for her ex-husband, and that it brings her great pain to have to live out the details of their past life together in front of the world. Back in November 2020, Depp lost his highly publicized UK libel lawsuit case against British tabloid The Sun for calling him a wife-beater. The court upheld the outlet's claims as being substantially true, and Amber testified to back up the claims. In March 2021, his attempt to overturn the decision was overruled. That's probably the reason why this time around, his legal team is not taking any chances, scheming tactically against Amber with the goal of winning the case. We are just a few weeks from knowing the fate of the two battling stars, and we'll be bringing you all the latest happenings surrounding the hearing. So be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of them.